So almost all of the, honest texts from the scholars, the peer-reviewed stuff, they admit that they don't know the exact time that these people reigned, but they can narrow it down to within a few hundred years from all of the other archaeological finds. So they've narrowed Akhenaten down to 13 or 1400s. Seriously? Do these mainstream archaeologists really believe it's just a coincidence that Ramses was recorded as ruling in Egypt during this exact time period, when this individual from Pharaoh's household rose up and brought monotheism back to Egypt, so much so that they changed his name to Akhenaten? I mean, can they not see this is the exact story of Moses? During the era of Ramses, Moses was the adopted son of the Pharaoh's daughter, a Hebrew that was taken into the house of the Pharaoh and raised there as one of their own. And then he rose up and instead decided to defend his kinsmen, the Hebrews, against these Nephilim Egyptians, and went straight up to Pharaoh and said, "Let God's people go," and told him that there was one God, the Most High God, and all of this. And when Pharaoh wouldn't bow his knee, then came the plagues of Egypt, remember? And in the end, they got the idea that the God of Moses, the God of the Hebrews, was indeed the Most High God, which is the exact story of Akhenaten. So if that's the case, then these would be the actual depictions of Moses when he was living in Pharaoh's household, raised in Egypt. I know we all think he looks like Charlton Heston because of the movies. So I know a lot of people, when they hear that, they're going to get their underpants in a bunch. I just want to be clear. This is not Moses. This is an actor from Hollywood, okay? From Hollywood, okay? This is an actor. I know this has been programmed into our brains that this is Moses, but this is an actor from Hollywood. This is not an ancient record. And I don't have any problem with the Ten Commandments movie, not at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just pointing out that so much of our idea of what the Bible is and who God is and all of that has come from movies instead of the actual historic records, instead of what the Bible says. And the ancient records record that the one who rose up out of Pharaoh's house, that changed his name to Akhenaten, like the Ankh, like the cross, and brought monotheism back to Egypt, this is what they portray him as looking like, which is especially creepy when you think about all the genetic engineering and them, the Smithsonian and the Vatican recovering all of these mummies and stuff to retrieve DNA, to engineer, to genetically engineer these bodies for what we believe are like the Antichrist and the false prophet. And, then we'll have the mark of the beast with the neural implants. So, what they're saying is AI through quantum computers, we know is like a giant Ouija board. They're literally reaching into other dimensions and allowing information to come forward from those dimensions, which could go right into a neural chip, which essentially is like a Jurassic World resurrection.